Bob Lazar, the truth they tried to bury. In 1989, a man stepped out of the shadows with a story that sounded like science fiction, but claimed it was fact. His name, Bob Lazar. Lazar revealed that he had been hired to work at a secret base in the Nevada desert, near Area 51, known only as S4. His job, to study and reverse engineer the propulsion systems of recovered extraterrestrial craft. Now think about that for a moment. If true, this means not only does alien technology exist, but our government has been working on it in secret for decades. From the moment Lazar went public, his life changed forever. His credibility was attacked, his educational records disappeared, and officials denied he ever worked where he claimed. But here's the strange part. Over the years, details of his story, dismissed at the time, have slowly been proven to be real. So tonight, let's peel back the layers of Lazar's story and ask the question, was he telling the truth, or is this one of the greatest hoaxes in modern history? Element 115, the impossible fuel. Back in 1989, Bob Lazar spoke of a mysterious material called Element 115. According to him, it was the key to the alien craft's propulsion system, an element unknown to human science at the time. Scientists laughed. They said such an element didn't exist and couldn't exist. But decades later, in 2016, the impossible happened. Element 115, now called Moscovium, was officially added to the periodic table. Yes, the version we can create today is unstable. It vanishes in seconds. But ask yourself this: what if, somewhere, hidden away, a stable form does exist? What if Lazar was right all along, and this was the power source of something not of this world? The bone scanner that shouldn't exist. Lazar also described a bizarre security device used at S4. A hand scanner that didn't read fingerprints, but instead measured the unique lengths of the bones in your hand. At the time, critics called this absurd science fiction. But years later, actual devices identical to Lazar's description surfaced in government archives. They were real. They were used. So here's the question. How did Bob Lazar describe this piece of top-secret technology years before the public even knew it existed? To flight characteristics of the craft. One of the eeriest parts of Lazar's testimony was the way he described the craft flying. Unlike planes or helicopters, Lazar claimed these craft tipped sideways, flying belly first, almost like they were falling through space rather than pushing through the air. Back then, it sounded crazy. But in 2016, the gimbal UFO video released to the New York Times showed exactly that. An unidentified object tilting, rotating, bend flying in ways eerily similar to what Lazar described nearly 30 years earlier. Coincidence or confirmation? Erased records and strange lies. And then there's the attempt to erase Bob Lazar himself. He said he studied at MIT and Caltech, yet no records exist. He claimed he worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, yet officials denied it. But then, an old Los Alamos phone directory surfaced, listing Lazar as an employee. Even a local newspaper article from the 1980s described him as a physicist working at the lab, long before he ever went public with his story. So why erase him? Why deny his past? Was it an attempt to discredit a man who knew too much? The big question. It's now been over 35 years since Bob Lazar first revealed what he saw at S4. In that time, we've watched as his wild claims turned into cold, documented facts. First, the element that wasn't supposed to exist. Then the bone scanner no one believed in. And finally, the UFO flight patterns now captured on military cameras. So how many so-called lies need to be proven true before we admit that maybe Lazar was right? Is this the testimony of a whistleblower risking everything to expose the truth, or the carefully crafted lie of a man who fooled the world? And maybe the better question is this: if Bob Lazar really did see what he claims, what else is still being hidden from us? Thank you for watching. My name is Mortis, and this is Cryptic Sense. If you believe Bob Lazar is telling the truth, or if you think it's the greatest hoax of all time, let me know in the comments below. And remember, the truth always has a way of coming out. It's just a matter of time.